Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is both bouncing from support and rejecting from resistance, causing a sideways price range in the shorter term, while the price is technically still playing out this short-term bearish divergence, alongside Ethereum still playing out this bearish divergence, while the price of Solana is forming a new price pattern that we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have that massive bearish divergence to watch out for, indicating a larger slowdown and a lack in bullish momentum for a period of weeks, if not months. And obviously for over a month now, that's exactly what we've seen, as I've been warning about. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Bitcoin price chart, we're still moving closer towards a possible bullish crossover very slowly in the 3-day Bitcoin MACD. But with that being said, we're still not really showing a lot of bullish momentum. And so at least for now, based on the current situation on these timeframes, we're kind of lacking momentum to either direction. So it's possible the price might chop around relatively sideways for a little longer, maybe over the next few days or so, considering we're not really showing significant bearish momentum or bullish momentum, which means we could see short-term bullish moves, short-term bearish moves, but not really massive high momentum movements on the larger timeframes, at least right now. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, we can see that right now this bearish divergence is technically still active as well. And if we're looking at support and resistance, we can see significant support in this area, still sitting in between around 106.7k to 107.6k approximately, which is exactly where we bounced from at the local lows. And as for resistance, we have this level right here, Fibonacci level, sitting at approximately 113,500. So obviously that's also where we're finding short-term resistance. So ultimately, the price is basically bouncing between support and resistance, at least for now. That is the current situation, while the price is lacking momentum to either direction. So once again, we're seeing short-term bearish moves and short-term bullish moves, but ultimately just bouncing from support, rejecting from resistance, and not really seeing significant momentum. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, at least as of recording this video, technically speaking, this bearish divergence is still currently active. We've not yet confirmed an invalidation signal to properly invalidate this bearish divergence, which means it may continue to play out in the coming hours or in the coming days. Remember, this is only a short-term signal on the 4-hour time frame, so these sort of signals right here don't play out very long. They reverse quite quickly, usually within a few days. And obviously, it's already been roughly 1 day from this actually confirming and already playing out here in the form of just a short-term pullback and a little bit of a sideways consolidation more recently. So I expect similar price action to this over the next 1 day, maybe a slight little pullback, maybe some choppy sideways price action, ultimately lacking bullish momentum, and quite honestly, most likely remaining in this sideways price range here, in between roughly 107,000 towards around 113,500. And as for shorter term levels to watch out for, we do have a bit of support based on this low right here and this low right here, sitting at approximately 109,500. And as for resistance, once again, expect a lot of resistance at around 113,000, really in between 113k to 113.5k. And then if we break out above these highs right here, the next target will be at roughly 117,000. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can see right now we have 2 major areas of liquidity to watch out for. First of all, we have this area above the latest highs, sitting at around 113.8k to 114,000, and also a lot of liquidity in between around 106.8k to 107.1k, right around these lows. So it's possible, while the price of Bitcoin kind of just bounces around in this sideways price range, it's possible we could ultimately take out both of these levels of liquidity. Maybe we sweep the lows, bounce at around this support, or sweep these highs right here, reject from resistance, but ultimately remaining in a bit of a range, at least for now, considering overall we're still lacking momentum. And so that is simply the current situation for Bitcoin and the key levels to watch out for. And of course, this is the time in the market where you have to be set up ready to go in order to take the next trading opportunity, which could happen really any moment now in the coming days or weeks here. So of course, you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And personally, I take a lot of my crypto trades over on BTNX. So I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive bonuses. For example, up to $25,000 in trading bonuses here just by trading crypto using the link below this video. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video in order to potentially claim some massive free money from the exchange just by trading crypto, but only if you use that link. And in case you're wondering, Bitfinex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want Bitfinex as an exchange, there's also Pinex as another exchange out there that I also trade on. So I will also make sure to leave a link to Pinex below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page where you can also claim some massive bonuses. For example, if you simply just make an account using that link, complete KYC, you get a free $50 bonus from the exchange onto your Pinex account, but only if you use that link. And on top of that sign up bonus, you can also get deposit bonuses here. For example, if you deposit just $100, you get a $100 bonus, or if you deposit $10,000, you get a $1,000 bonus onto your Pinex account. But once again, all of these major bonuses here are only available if you're using that link. And in case you're wondering, Pinex, you can also access Pinex without KYC as well. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart right now on the 3-day time frame, we're still seeing that slight little bounce as I've recorded this video in the Bitcoin dominance. And like I've said in recent videos here on the channel, if we see a bit more of a bounce in the short term, expect basically bad news for the altcoin market while this is happening. But obviously, if the Bitcoin dominance ultimately continues the larger bearish move, which for now, the larger price structure is technically still bearish, if we ultimately continue with a further pullback moving forward in maybe a week from now, for example, of course, that'll be good news for altcoins, but just in the immediate short term, while this bounce is happening, that is not good for altcoins. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now Ethereum is still trading in the same sideways price range exactly as I've been saying it would for over a week now on the channel, for almost 2 weeks now on the channel. I've been saying expect a lot of choppy sideways price action in this sideways price range. And obviously over the last 1 to 2 weeks, that's exactly what we've seen as predicted. And I continue to predict the same thing that we've already seen over the last 1 week. I continue to predict that moving forward at least over the next few days, maybe longer, maybe another few weeks, but at least in the next few days, we're likely going to remain in this sideways price range, just simply bouncing around sideways. And obviously that's already been playing out. And in case you're new to the channel, this area of support for the sideways price range is sitting in between around 3.9k to 4.1k, so roughly 4,000. We have a lot of support. And as for resistance, that's sitting in between around 4.8k to 4.9k, so right around the all-time highs, obviously acting as strong resistance. And obviously, if you're simply just holding Ethereum or holding some altcoins, for example, that are bouncing around sideways, this sort of price action seems very boring while the price is just bouncing around sideways. But if you're a crypto trader, you can actually make a lot of money in crypto during choppy sideways price action just like this, using grid bot trading strategies and things like that, which Pinex is very much known for. So if we're in a sideways price range like we are in right now for Ethereum and other crypto assets, of course, definitely check out Pinex. Once again, second link below this video to potentially look at setting up a grid bot trading strategy, not financial advice, but that's simply how you'd make a lot of easy profits from a choppy sideways price range like this. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum price chart, technically speaking, the bearish divergence is still currently active, which means we should not be expecting significant bullish momentum. But quite honestly, considering the prices in the sideways price range, we're not really seeing significant bearish moves either, just very, very small bullish and very small bearish moves, ultimately looking very neutral and kind of lacking momentum to either direction. At least for now, that is the current situation. But like I've said recently here on the channel, if we are to see a further bounce in the Bitcoin dominance, if this bounces further towards the upside in the coming days, that could possibly cause a slight little pullback in Ethereum to continue, maybe to retest this area on the 3-day Ethereum price chart. Once again, in between around 3.9k to 4.1k, acting as strong support. But that retest right there would only likely happen if we see a further bounce here in the Bitcoin dominance, and especially if the price of Bitcoin is still looking relatively weak, lacking momentum while the Bitcoin dominance is bouncing. Once again, that would not be great news for Ethereum and other altcoins, but for now, we're looking very neutral in the immediate short term. And if we're taking a look at Solana on the 2-day time frame, it's a similar situation for Solana. Technically, the longer term trends, the larger price structure, still currently bullish, forming higher lows and higher highs. But the short-term situation, still lacking momentum, just bouncing around sideways. Now, the good news is that we're holding above a critical area on the price chart, sitting in between 190 to 200. So for now, that is the support to pay attention to based on previous resistance flipping into new support. And I'd only start to flip much more bearish again on Solana, expecting move down towards maybe 167 to 170 only if we actually confirm a break below 190 to 200 with candle closes below that level, especially if we fail to get back above that level. But for now, technically speaking, the larger price structure is still bullish while the price is just consolidating, bouncing around sideways above a crucial area on the price chart. And we also have some short-term resistance at roughly 214 to 215 and also at around 230. And if we're taking a look at the slightly shorter term on the 12-hour time frame, we can see technically speaking, we do have a rising wedge pattern potentially forming right now, but not currently confirmed. And in case you're wondering, this line of support is sitting at roughly $200, around 199 to 200. But also remember, we have this area in between 190 to 200 also acting as support right around here. And we have this line of resistance coming into play at roughly around 216, give or take. So obviously expect resistance at that level and support at this level. But if we were to see, for example, a confirmed break below around 200 and especially below 190, also acting as support, in that situation, that would set up a bearish price target for this statistically bearish price pattern, a rising wedge, and that price target will be sitting at the bottom of the wedge right here at around 157 to 158. And so, for example, measuring that move from roughly 200 to that price target, that's a possible 21% move towards the downside. Or say if you wait for a break below, say 190, 189, somewhere around there to that price target, still about a 16 to 17% move towards the downside with no leverage, not financial advice, but a possible trading opportunity. But I want to make it clear, at least as of right now, that possible trading opportunity and this possible price target is not currently confirmed. They are not in play because we've not seen any confirmed break below this line right here, or especially below 190 to 200. So while the price is still holding above, especially this area here on the 2-day Solana price chart, we're still looking pretty good, technically still in a bullish trend. I'm just simply pointing out this possible price pattern in case it confirms. And if we're taking a look at XRP on the weekly time frame, obviously right now we're still playing out the massive bearish divergence that I've been warning about for well over a month now on the channel, basically causing this larger slowdown, a larger pullback in the price from all-time highs. So this is still playing out as predicted, as I warned about over a month ago. And if we're taking a look at this daily XRP price chart, for now, obviously, we're just bouncing around between important support and important resistance. So similar to other crypto assets I've talked about in this video, first of all, we have strong support at roughly 275 based on these lows right here, and also strong resistance at roughly 290, but really in between 285 to 290 as an area of resistance. And so in the immediate short term, XRP is kind of just bouncing around in that sideways price range between that resistance and that support. But if we were to see a confirmed breakout back above around 290, the next horizontal resistance on this chart to watch out for based on these highs right here is sitting at approximately $3.08. And if we ultimately break below 275 with confirmation, in that situation, the next major target would be this area in between 255 to 262. And if we're taking a look at this daily XRP price chart, technically speaking, we still have a descending triangle pattern forming, but not yet confirmed, not yet in play. And in case you're new to the channel, this line of support is still sitting at roughly 275, give or take. And this line of resistance is currently sitting just underneath $3, around 297 to 298, give or take. So obviously, if we see a bit of a short-term bounce back above 290, we also have a bit of resistance right there. And as I've mentioned a few times recently here on the channel, if the price of XRP first confirms a break below 275 with at least a daily candle close below that level, and especially if we fail to get back above that level, in that situation, that would set up a bearish price target for this statistically bearish price pattern, a descending triangle pattern. But before hitting that price target at a lower price target, we also have this area that would come in before the price target, once again at around 255 to 262. So that would be the initial target if we first break below 275. But for now, just in the immediate short term, we're currently just bouncing around between support and resistance, following a lot of the other crypto market, the rest of the crypto market. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, technically it's a somewhat similar situation. The larger trend or longer term price structure still technically bullish as we are forming higher lows and higher highs. But the somewhat shorter term situation for the last couple of weeks or so is obviously a shorter term bearish trend or pullback during the larger bullish trend, kind of like what we saw just here or just here, for example. And the key support and resistance to watch out for, first of all, I'll be watching roughly 2150, give or take, as the next important support. But really below that, we have a major area in between $20 to $21. And for as long as the price of Chainlink holds above that area, above $20 to $21, in that situation, technically, we can remain within the larger bullish trend for as long as we're holding above that area. But if we see confirmed breaks, so candle closes below around $20, and especially if we fail to get back above that level, successful, in that situation, there'll be a significant change in the larger price structure, not just the short-term situation, but what we could be expecting in a period of weeks, if not months, would be much more bearish for Chainlink if we break below $20 to $21. But for now, obviously, we're still holding above that area on the price chart, which is some good news in terms of the larger price structure. But obviously, we also still have a lot of resistance above the price. So if we see any little short-term bounce here, expect a lot of resistance starting at roughly $24 and also at around $25, and also major resistance at just under $27. And if we're taking a look at this daily Chainlink price chart, we also still have an active bearish divergence, which is not yet being invalidated. So technically speaking, this means that we're still lacking bullish momentum, showing a lot of weakness, at least for now, on the daily Chainlink price chart. And this will likely continue in the coming days, maybe even another week or so, but at least in the next few days, technically, because this is still currently active, we're still playing it out. And so overall, I expect either some choppy sideways price action or a slight little pullback to continue within the next few days. But remember, during this pullback, we can see little bounces here and there, basically along the way towards the downside in the pullback. And remember, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.